tunes.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Riff and Refine guest episode. It's been a minute.
Are we in season 2 yet?
I've been
I don't know.
wondering about that. I was like, do we even worry about seasons?
Yeah, we don't need seasons anymore.
I did seasons with me and Allie's thing just because like we stopped for like months. And so I was like, oh, well, that was on purpose. It's season 2 now. And then every time we start a new episode, I'm like, season 2 episode, I don't know, 5. Like I can't ever keep track. So I think with live shows, we're just
in one season.
I think seasons are like when you're like vibe shifting, like we're going to completely change the trajectory of the show, but we're still doing the same thing. So we're just going to roll with it. With us, we have Tommy. And Tommy, I have said your last name in my head probably like 7 times.
What is it?
Is Geoco how you pronounce it?
I'm gonna say Geoco.
Yeah, you guys nailed it.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, we got Tommy Geoco.
Gonna be a
Tommy
good show.
Pickles, Tommy the Kid, our homie. Tommy's one of my good buddies, and I'm so glad that you are on today, man.
And we just found out that like Tommy and I don't live far from each other too, so it's like
you'll probably
he could be one of my good buddies
Josh.
eventually. Yeah,
We will make plans, sir.
I love it.
All right, for
bringing
those of
people
you who don't
together.
know Tommy is. I don't know what Tommy is. Tommy is a man of everything. Tommy has a.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'll tell you what my favorite part of Tommy is. Tommy is just somebody who like platforms other people. Now, he does this by like getting a bunch of cool people into like communities together. That's how I met Tommy. But his like main, would you say it's your main? Your main venture is your media business?
I think so. I think that's fair to say.
So why don't you just like very quickly say like what your media business is? I could tell everyone, but you've probably got it figured out to a much less rambly version than I would come up with.
I actually don't, but what I'll tell you is this. I'm someone who likes to make software and I like to tell stories. And so I'm building a business that does a little bit of both.
Heck yeah.
You know, helping software people who like to build software. That's who we make media for. And I think there's going to be a lot more people who make software over the next couple of years.
Ooh, okay.
Absolutely. We talk about that all the time on the show. Josh, what have you been up to the last week?
Last week, I have been up to some fun things. Basically, I jumped back. So for those just joining in, what's up? How's it going? Glad to have everyone in the chat. It's always fun.
We got some new people hanging out. We got Drew.
Yeah, Drew. What's up?
Drew.
What's up?
I think you're about to go hang out with him in Japan. Riley is also going to be in Japan. I'm so mad. So many of you are going to be at Tokyo Design Forum. Ugh, salty.
I will not be there.
Oh, whew, okay.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
That's a new development, and it's a bummer of a development, but it is a good decision for us.
Yeah,
but I am looking forward to hearing how it is.
That's a lot of travel. All right, sorry, interrupted you, Josh.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll actually be in Japan in May for live.
You're gonna do Laracon and live.
Yeah, so that'll be my first time in Japan. So I won't be going for that thing, but I'll be going for the other thing. But no, my last week was pretty cool. For those who don't know, I had my third kid. Me and my wife had our third kid, my baby girl, January 11th. So I took 2 weeks off of work, did a lot of thinking, did a lot of like writing as I was, holding her late at night. And so this week was back to work, and then also like expounding and trying to carry through some of the ideas that I had. So I did a bunch of like good stuff work wise. Like I got like a really cool demo out for Laracon EU that's going to be coming up.
Are you going to be there, or are you hanging out?
I am not going to be there. No. So I'm just that is my spirit that I'm bringing for that. I got some of like the personal stuff that I'm talking about, like in terms of like my next venture. I got a lot of that kind of figured out, like a little bit of a landing page, but not a live landing page, or not that I've told anyone yet. I don't know if I'll share it here yet. But then I also like the keytar that I had built. I shrunk it down. So I called the first one Keyframe Mark 1.
Okay.
I built Keyframe Mark 2 this past week.
Man, you know that you're making something dope when you get to like name versions of it, like Mark 1 and Mark 2. Like, heck yeah, dude.
And it's so much better. It's so much smaller. It's a lot easier to play. And my custom app works better with it. So I built a custom Swift app that basically I took your idea, Will, and I made it so I can like tell AI to generate me sounds based off of the available instruments and presets.
Oh, heck
so
yeah.
then my left hand can play chords with like this little MIDI synth. And my right hand is always going to be in tune with the specific key that I have it preset. So I have it basically set so any key that is wrong in a major diatonic scale is going to just snap to the next key. It's actually really cool. So I don't have to I still have to play nice, but I don't have to play perfect.
Here's the deal. You keep talking about it a lot, but
I could show it.
What's about to go down in one of these episodes is we need to have a live performance.
We need to like play it. Yeah.
The podcast. We're talking like showtime. Like you're gonna show up, you're just gonna be like full keytard and like it's going down.
Keytard. Just never go full keytard. You never
always go full keytar when you made it yourself, man. We're pumped.
I'm pumped. Well, how about next week? Next week we can do that.
That sounds great. We're doing it. Cool. Tommy,
I'm actually more excited about the app that I built than the actual keytar now. But yeah.
As it goes with us makers, we just like get super excited about the next thing.
Oh yeah. Like this is better than the thing.
Tommy, what you been up to this week?
I am a different human being now.
Oh.
I'm augmented. Ooh. I thought augmented. You know, I've always said that when the world gets to the place where I'm like, I've got a wire going here and there's like a cybernetic eyeball over here, then I will opt in to that world.
Oh, heck yeah.
All right.
Cyborg.
The difference is it's not mechanical pieces. It's crustacean. Okay. It's shells. Crustacean. All right. It's the Claude bot. It's
open claw. Yeah. The old
open claw. Old switcheroo.
And so it's the last 2 weeks for me have really been a lot of I think between I use I vibe code in 3 different ways. Through Claude Codes CLI, through Cursor, and then occasionally with my bot now, which is a very expensive way to code. So I don't do it unless it's like we're kicking off something massive, and then I'll shift over. And in that time, I've built 4 different things that we've got going. I think I launch one next week. A couple of one of them. It's really the question right now, because a lot of this stuff, especially like on the Claude bot side or the OpenClaw side, is not made for consumers yet. Like it is very much for like us
early adopters.
There's like so many security risks and so many things that are not friendly to set up. I think I saw somebody's actually started a business, and for $400 they'll come to your house and set up ClaudeBot, and for like
pretty good deal.
For $1,000 they'll set it up on like a Mac Mini. And I'm like, that's hilarious. Like that is the moment in time. That is the moment in time value capture that's happening, and that'll probably be worthwhile for like
2
30
weeks.
days. Yeah,
like
30 days sounds long. But what's happened, man, is the like that right there. Oh, I'm gonna spin up a service. I might make a few $1,000s, and then like the window closes.
Yeah.
I'm starting to realize though, with everything that I created these past 2 weeks, I'm having like an existential crisis. Like how big is the value window for a lot of software? I don't know, because now I'm like, oh, I can create a thing. I created a thing. It's doing this. It lets you interface with my business, or lets you interface with some new idea, or you're geeking out and like improving your own like back of house utilities, which is a joke that's going around because it's not consumer friendly. But the point is now you say, well, what is the value of software, man? I don't know. What is the value of software? Like, how do you think about it?
The value of software. I mean, to me, the value of software has like always been that it not only solves a problem, but it solves a problem consistently. Like software can be great. Like I basically see software as like 2 camps. There is like one-offs, like there used to not be two camps. Like one-off software was not really a thing. Like people would not make a software tool to do something a single time.
Disposable tools, yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Like if you needed to do something, then like you would just manually do it yourself. Then like the whatchamacallits came around, like the Zapiers and the like things like that, where like, and workflow a few things together, automate some pieces of it to where it's like, okay, this one piece can get a little more automated. But like software was like the place for recurring problems being solved in like efficient ways. And like software's always been really good at solving a bunch of different problems. It was just so hard, like so much of a lift to create something good enough to solve that problem, that you needed to like be able to justify the effort that you would put in. And now like the effort is gone for like, especially for one-off things. You know, like I don't think that much has changed if you're building an actual business, like software business. When it comes to like long-term, like what actually makes running a software business hard is not ever been like writing the code. It's everything else. But what's been like hard for like using software to solve problems is like getting off the ground. So, you know, I think it has like completely changed the game on like how willing people are to automate, like create little tools for every little problem. And I'm sure that like I feel like that's what you've run into a lot. What I've seen with like your CloudBot usage is just like, hey, this thing is something I need done. Do it, make it faster, make it automated.
The two questions that keep coming up, and it could be ethically or just like logistically, but it's like, one, can I do this? You know, and so you spend like a few hours to see, like, interesting. I wonder if I can do this. And so you spend time doing that. But then you also like you start asking the questions like, should I do that? Like not just necessarily ethically. Like sometimes it's like, should I just go and rip a bunch of designers' work and make that my design skill? You know,
right?
No. Like that's an ethical. Should I do that? Or like, or
is automating other people's taste in craft something?
What are the ethics around that? And then the other side of it is like, should I do it? Do I really need to automate my coffee maker beeping at, you know, like it's like at what level are we like over optimizing practicality? Everything we do?
Yeah,
you know,
I think there's also like the technicality aspect of like, should I do it too? Where it's like before you would be like, I'm not going to do that because I know that that's going to be incredibly difficult. But now you're almost thinking of it like, I find myself asking like AMP or Cloud Code or whatever, should I do this in the fact of like, is it going to be worth the effort for even you as an agent to put all this together, knowing that it's probably going to break and it's going to be like hacked and like all this pieces and kind of like that aspect of is the technical aspect even feasible would be like a good way of putting it.
So the self-defeating skill you've created. So rather than you having to be like, this isn't worth it. Hey, bot, is this worth it?
This is actually worth it.
Yeah, I knew it.
I knew it. I can do something else though. Because you spend those times and you're like, oh, I spent like 4 hours like trying this, and it's like, I just really had to learn, and I feel like that's feedback loop becomes so much faster now, where before you had to learn the hard way of like, that was the wrong way of doing it. Now it can be like, hey, I spent 4 hours, or Claude spent 4 hours on this in the background and it's absolutely broken. I just really needed that one package that I just found yesterday. That's all I really needed.
Well, and it's like for people who are systems thinkers, like this has got to be just a wonderful time for you. Because you see the matrix. You're like, yeah, that can be automated. And I see components and pieces in this. But the reason people are joking, it's like everyone's yapping about how incredible agentic coding and all these things are. And all I see being shipped are improvements to their agentic coding workflows.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's a bunch of systems thinkers who are like, you know,
it's like that Obama meme where Obama's putting a medal on himself. You know, your cloud code usage is just making your cloud code better. Yeah,
you're just optimizing the tokens that you spend on optimizing the tokens that you spend. And it's just like,
Yeah.
Well, and so you'll go and you'll have just a crash out, a goblin mode weekend, right? And you'll come out and you're like, look what I made. And it's just like a Rube Goldberg device. And it does all this fancy stuff, but it like really is just kind of a self-contained operation. There you go.
Yeah.
Also, LOL at Allie. She's like legit doing this. Like this is exactly what she is building.
cool.
Is like a way better memory and harness setup for like agentic stuff. So that's
but you also kind of need to, right? Like if you're adopting this stuff right now,
you know, this is such a fun period of time because like people are I think this is the first time that like something new in software is so fun since like early 2000s, like .com bubble type stuff, where like people were like, dude, the internet. And like the internet was so amazing that everybody built their own version of everything on the internet. And eventually like a few companies swallowed up all of like the consumer usage and blah, 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 whatever. The same thing's happening now, but like it can like at a completely different scale because so many more people can be involved in it. And it's that thing that's happening where it's like, hey, I can make my own stuff. No company has solved XYZ yet because everything's moving so fast. Like I can just figure out my own solutions to these problems. And like probably like you can kind of see it happen in waves, like usually in like a 3 to 4 month rollover. The things that you figured out on your own got bundled into Claude, got bundled into like Cursor or Codex or whatever they are, and like they get solved for you, but like it doesn't matter, like it's just fun, you know, like
everyone's working on all the abstraction layers right now, you know, and that's what it's going to be like. There's going to be so many people, because you talk to anybody. I could talk to the both of you, and you probably each have a very intimate workflow that's like very you. In fact,
100%.
In fact, my buddy Kyle, he was like, hey, why don't we build a thing? He's helping me at UX Tools. We're doing like a labs where we test a lot of this stuff. And he's like, here, I'll build a process for you. And I was like, man, of all the things we could build, I don't think I have a bigger allergic reaction than trying to have a feedback loop with another human who is then going to have a feedback loop with an AI to build my process. And I'm like, ugh, no, like absolutely not. I want to tweak, like, at this point, when I'm using software, if it's not a super consequential product like cal.com,
right?
And I'm like, I really hate like step 2. Everything about this is a beautiful product, but step 2 pisses me off. I'm gonna go roll my own. You know what I mean? Like that's the place I'm at now. Like my process, I want to be so particular, and it's like
especially when it's like your business. You know, like it's. I think it's different if you're just like a consumer of something. Like, oh hey, like I do this thing periodically, but like if part of your business depends on this workflow, why would you not, if you are able to, which clearly AI has enabled a lot of this, like if you are capable of doing it, the issues that people talk about of like why would you code this yourself in terms of scale and concerns around that, like those don't exist when you're building a tool just for your own workflow,
for internal consumption,
because like things don't break because you're not having to think of ABC, XYZ use cases. You literally are thinking of a single solitary use case and like, boom, like crush that use case, call it a day, and don't like think too much about it. I 100% agree.
I think the interesting part is that I feel like we're in this age of right when JavaScript came out was when things started like, okay, we have this new tool that we can build on the web. And so that's when, you know, frameworks and libraries started to emerge. And I feel like right now we're in like the AI framework aspect of like, it's not necessarily bits and pieces of specific code. Like I guess it is skills and MCP and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's more of like, okay, here's all of like how to build with it and the way that you want to build with it, like your DX. But I don't think DX is as much of a thing anymore, but it's more of like whatever the AI developer experience of like how you prompt X, you know, kind of thing.
Agent experience. Yeah.
Agent experience. Like I feel like that's what's kind of being figured out right now.
Yeah,
which
people,
means
that's
there's
exactly
probably
like, how can we make more tools accessible to these agentic workflows?
Oh,
I
we'll
love
talk
Ali's
about
point
that.
here of like sovereignty. Like people are like what you mentioned, Tommy, like because you can have full ownership over your entire, like your business no longer depends on some company doing it the way you want them to do it.
Yeah.
And like that is awesome for people who are like building their own businesses, for sure.
I don't know how to I can't talk to enough people about this right now. I've been covering this stuff and making media about it and experimenting with it for the last couple of years, right? I've been like, as an unemployed AI enjoyer, I have spent way too much time dissecting all the things that have been hyped up over the last couple of years. And then, here's what I found.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like there've only been a couple instances where I really felt like the hype was justified.
Mhm.
And even like agentic workflows were still kind of a pain in the ass and not that interesting 3 fucking months ago. Can I cuss on here? I'm sorry. 3
I
months
mean,
ago.
you do you. You do you.
But like 3 months ago, like it was like, okay, that's interesting. Like, yeah, everything has been, it's either like really incredibly cool and that's
Mhm.
kind of rare, or it's
Right.
been, it's cool, but I'm more excited about what it means about the future. Like the potential is
Yeah.
here.
Right. Like
And-
the people
and-
behind it, the way they're trying, like what they're trying to bring to reality. Like you
And
believe in the person
agents-
and the vision. Yeah.
Agents or Open Cloud is more specifically to me like, whoa, this is cool right now, and the future is going to be insane.
Okay. Well, here's what I want to do. I
Yeah.
want to get into sharing stuff. Like I
wanna share.
want you're like super into this. I want you to start sharing like what makes you interested about it. Like we could spend our entire time on here together just yapping. And I know that we could.
riffing.
But I want to look at some stuff. Like
Yeah.
what about, so you're a, we'll call it OpenClaw now officially. You're an OpenClaw user.
I am.
And I have heard you talking about how like incredible it is. Like why? I don't use it. I have not set it up. I've not dug into it. I have a few reasons why I think other people are super into it. I'm not, but like I want you to just like dig into like, hey, here's the use cases. Here's why it's actually valuable to me. And then I will tell you if I'm moved.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
curious to get your thoughts because I've tried it out and I eventually shifted back to a more rudimentary of me just having an interface for Claude Code / Codex instead of having that personal assistance. I'm really curious.
Okay. So how do I start this? Because I'm making videos about this. I have a whole bunch of stuff that I want to talk about. I have a friend coming over on Sunday who I'm just gonna like show him the same thing I'm showing you guys right now because I want him to get spun up. And I'm giving like a talk at the kids' high school. So my screen's up.
Ooh.
We'll pull that up. And I'm not practiced on how to communicate this. Like
this is why it's called Riff and Refine, dude.
You're seeing
me
polished coming out of the garage with oil on me, and I'm like, okay, let me tell you what I found.
Heck yeah. Look, you've got like an Always Sunny, but not in Philadelphia t-shirt, but like the meme where he's got like wire, like threads running everywhere. Like that's us every single episode. Like we don't have it together. You're here hanging out because like we're sharing it as we're figuring it out. So
it's never sunny in Barovia is a Dungeons and Dragons reference.
From is it from
Curse of Strahd campaign.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. For any of my especially nerds out there. So like can I do a thing? It always starts like, can I do this? And so I spent a year writing a book, and then I created this video course on like all the foundations that built my design career, working in really extremely in aggressive environments. Like your market shipping was fast. You didn't have enough time. You had to do good enough stuff very frequently, working across like 5 teams at once. And so I wrote a book about it. Like everyone says you can't move fast, but you can, but you have to do it very deliberately. And it's like it turned into 600 pages, and I don't really sell this course anymore. It's not my thing. I mean, it's out there, but I
Right.
don't, you know.
Man,
And
I
so I
love
was like,
this
cool.
phrase, the framework for making choices quickly and intentionally.
Yeah, you know, and
Side
so I was
note, that
like,
is like legit what sets apart good and great in any like developers, designers, like your ability to quickly make decisions. That's the difference.
the cost of a decision, you know, it definitely incorporates how long it took you to make it. So, so I was like, cool. Let me make a little, you know, can we make a little tool? And it's like I could do this with Cloud Code, right? Like this, some of the stuff I'm going to show you here is like, oh, I could do that in Cloud Code, and I'm going to slowly get to why this is interesting. So I went ahead and I spun up a Claude bot, and the very first thing I asked myself was, well, you know what? The way I want to interface with all of these things is through my phone and through Slack, because that's really where I spend a lot of time.
Right.
And so right off the bat was like very easy. I could come in here. I set up a channel called Garage, and it's just me and Beans. Beans is my bot.
Beans is the name of your bot.
Beans. This is Beans, man.
It's a good name for it.
Yeah,
Beans,
is
Aaron
dope.
Garen.
Beans is
Shout
dope.
out
Beans,
to
Beans
Even Stevens.
and so Beans started. We had a different photo here, and Beans requested to look a little.
I saw
bit
that.
more.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
Beans was like, I think I'm cooler than that photo, and I was like, I got you, Beans. You are. So we've been at this, right? There's a lot of stuff going on in here, and so I was like, cool, Beans. Like, let me see if I can code for you. Yeah, cool, Beans. Let me see if I can
That's
code.
awesome.
and I wanted to code through him, so I was like, cool. Hey, Beans, I have a 600-page book. It's a meaty thing, and I've never been able to do this because it's so much context. And he's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. And so like we scaffolded out this plan. He spun up a sub agent. He was like, cool, I'm gonna have this guy go and document all the chunks of the book and make a plan, and then he's gonna spin up a couple of agents who are gonna go piece by chapter, and then they're gonna present to me, Beans, the main guy, all the things they found. And while they do that, I'm gonna go scaffold up a coding bot who's going to go and start creating like this scaffold for this idea of turning that book into a skill. And so the whole point here was just, let me just create a skill so that I can say, hey, Beans, look at my design or my website and audit it against the criteria that I believe. Right. And then I was like, oh, you know what? Let's make this public facing. And so what he did was he just created like a bunch of guidelines. Vercel released I bit the entire design for this off of Vercel's web interface guidelines, but the content here is all mine. And so like this, it just basically transitioned 600 page into a couple of rules. This is a graph that I had in one of them, and then it's a tool. And so who's got a website? Give me a website.
Me, wking.dev.
All right, let's look at it. Let's run the audit. Oh, I'm always nervous demoing things.
Doing it live.
It's doing it live. See, so this is simple though. This isn't a big deal, but it's like it was the first. Can I do a thing?
Let's see how bad this is. Trash. Your design is garbage.
Yeah, we'll see. There are definitely things this skill could use some improvements on, because it tries to make assumptions about your market, which could be better thought out, because it's kind of part of the framework I suggest. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right. Priority. So priority fixes. You got to improve the text contrast, apparently. Okay. And it'll like link to the section that it pertains to, so it's trying to like, it makes some assumptions about what your bet is, like who your market is and what your, why, but so this part's probably not that important. Jobs to be done. So it makes some assumptions about the jobs to be done, the personas, and then it'll kind of give you a breakdown. So 63% on visual hierarchy. All right. I guess, visual style, 50% tells us why.
Man.
Accessibility. You don't care about the people. Well,
oh man, I mean, it's not wrong about the light gray text. Yeah, my text is a bit light. I don't disagree with that.
Let's look at the notes. This is clean, minimal portfolio design that effectively communicates Will's personality and role.
Never mind, I nailed it. That's all I've been trying to do with that.
The layout is well structured. However, accessibility concerns around text contrast and link identification are significant issues that should be addressed immediately.
That's true. There's not. You can't really tell that a link's a link. That is definitely the case.
Content could also benefit from better formatting to improve readability.
Yeah, this is like a timeline view, so like that makes a lot of sense. No, this nailed it. This got it in one. I'm not saying that I want to change it, but it understood the issues with what I chose to do.
Yeah. And by the way, Peter, OpenClaw's creator, is in the chat. That's pretty cool. Good to see you, Peter.
Shut up. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so we're walking through this. So I was like, okay, cool. I could create a skill. I got to publish it. We'll make a little video, just a little thing, right? Like, and if I'm totally frank, I don't know that this is going to become some tool in my kit. It probably needs a lot more love. And this isn't really how I evaluate things anyway.
Anymore, yeah.
But the question was, can I do it? And the answer was, yes, I can. And so
question,
I was like, okay.
When you spun it up, the way you mentioned it is the multi-agent thing. Is that like built into how OpenClaw just like runs by default, or is that like something you have to configure? Or
yes to both, I believe. Now, I want to be very clear. Okay, Peter, you made a tool that is fantastic if he's in here with us. I am not the best representative of it because I'm just tinkering, but I do stand by. I am now an elevated AI-powered moron. Okay. So the way that I've been learning how Claude Bot or OpenClaw and really a lot of these tools work, whenever I set up these processes, I have a need. And this is why a lot of people are shipping visualizations of their skills and their processes and their subagents, because for a lot of us who don't understand out the gate how some of this is working, there's a bunch of things I want to know when I spin these processes up. I want to know how much they're costing me per run. I want to know when the tool calls are happening. I want to know what skills are being used. I want to know if they run into any errors. Like, I want to see what part of the process they're at when I run a skill. And so you can spin up skills, which are hosted locally in like a markdown file. And you can also download skills, which the skills marketplaces are exploding right now.
They are.
You can create agents or subagents. So Claude will, or OpenClaw will spin up these subagents. And sometimes I tell it to, and other times it'll use its own discretion. So I don't totally know that. But what I can tell you is there is like a problem in that I'll create really robust skills. I'm so sorry, man. I got like this.
Oh, you're fine.
Throat. And I'll create like a robust skill or an agent, and then it sometimes the emphasis is on me needing to call on it versus even when I tell it, I say, hey, like, I need you to watch for certain patterns, and it'll put it in what's called an identity markdown file, which is kind of this thing it references every time. And so you can put your priority rules in there, but even then, occasionally, unless I'm explicit, sometimes it won't call on an agent that is perfect for the job. Right. So that's a little bit of a longer answer. I don't know if I answered your question.
Oh, this is smart. Yeah, no, that answered it a lot. Like a lot of like what I'm interested, like what interests me about it is that like currently a lot of workflows are very manual.
Yeah.
Of like, whereas I feel like the difference between just running Claude Code or whatever your choice is, and like, or even running it remotely where you can SSH in, like the difference that I feel like is like its ability to like adapt and grow. Whereas like it's on you to grow your use of like just Claude Code straight up. But like OpenClaw has this like ability to grow with you as you're like as you're like doing different things, which is interesting to me.
Bookmarks.
Also, this is smart. Yeah, this is like one of my favorite things to do just generally with like AI coding. If none of y'all are doing this, absolutely copy, like clone code bases that you use a lot. That way, like the agents can crawl them directly. It's so good.
I love that. And so like I bookmark a bunch of like, I have so many conversations with ClawBot in here or OpenClaw, and it's like I have to kind of be careful because I exchange a lot of sensitive information with this thing, which is not a good idea, by the way. I'm learning a lot about how to bulletproof our security and all of the vulnerabilities in gateways and things like that. But I have these conversations. We go through a lot of stuff, and it's very helpful. But let me keep going, okay? Because I was like, okay, Beans. I want to know what you're doing, man. What do we got going on? What's the next step? How much did that tool run cost me? You know, I spent a lot of money these last couple of weeks, and I've learned how to optimize. I've learned how to optimize because right now I have ClawBot or OpenClaw running. It defaults to Kimi 2.5 for research and planning. and then it defaults to Opus 4.5 for coding. However, I do think I'm going to start having it choose between Opus 4.5 for certain types of coding tasks. And then for like big meaty code bases, I'm probably going to have it bring over Codex High.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is this all running on your local device, or do you have a Mac Mini set up?
Right now it's local. I am I have a plan, a PRD created with the bot, because I said, hey, I want to run you on my Windows gaming machine. Yeah. I don't know if I can do this. But what I want to do is I want to have you running all the time, and I want to have a dual setup so that if my Mac is shut, we'll call that primary, because I think there's still, and maybe you guys can correct me, but I think there's still advantages to running it locally that way occasionally. But maybe I can just like VM it. I don't know. But I'm gonna have it run 2 instances and use the Windows as a like an always on fallback.
Yeah, that's what I want to do too, because I have the same setup where my stream PC is like Windows, so I want to have that be the default as well.
So I'm running through all these processes, and I immediately realize I want to see a lot more information. I want the visualization of my processes, my skills, my bots. And so I'm like, cool. Well, we'll create something to visualize beans. And I just decided to call it Beans Talk, right? And I was like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. And then I went into like a Carmack mode, and then I just like built this little stupid visualization. And by the way, side note, I really wanted to have fun with, I'm somebody who, when I started coding, my background got into it because I liked clicking things and making interactions. I'm very Jay Tompkins like that, except he's an artisan and he's a master.
Yeah, dude's gifted.
and so, but for me, it was like, that's why I ended up, going over to the static design side. But now I have so many ideas with interactions. I spent a lot of time just playing. This is just the heroes section, right? And it's like, this is just fun to play with, and it visualizes a lot, and that's great. But like, I wanted to log into this thing. So I was like, cool, well, I'm going to need an onboarding for people to set up their Claude bot, which I was like, why isn't there a click setup for Claude? And the Claude bot's not that hard to set up, but there still could be abstracted layers for people who are not as nerdy as us. And so I was like, cool, well, like, let's walk through the gateway. So we created this like whole onboarding, and actually my gateway is set up right. I shouldn't do that. This is localhost, so this actually might not read it. But this is live, by the way, at beans.talk.
Oh, that's awesome. Ooh, what a great URL.
Nice.
It's beans.talk. I was like, there we go. Let's go. It's going to be the product. This isn't far from being like, right now it's waitlisted. And by the way, I've become a big fan of middleware. I used to really think middleware was a silly idea. Like over time, I was like, who's going to do middleware anymore? I'm starting to realize with the rise of who's going to be entering the market making software, there's going to be a lot of use cases more for middleware. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but
are you talking by middleware? Do you mean like things like Clerk and stuff?
like Clerk and or like Vercel Gateway and things like that? You know,
things that sit in between systems.
Yeah, just it's really nice. Like, you could Ralph your way or do a number of operations to just like really make sure you get certain things secure or performant or scalable.
Yep.
Or I can just make sure, like, or I could just pay Clerk to just handle a piece of this.
All your authentication. Yep.
Exactly. And it's nice. And so we come in, build this thing out. Let me get you a quick, like, just visual here. Because this was important to me. It was like, how am I going to make it so that I can see this stuff? Right. Is that not the one I'm logged in with?
About to find out.
Yeah. I'm sorry. This isn't,
dude, don't even worry about it.
This is the demo.
I saw it on Twitter where it connects everything with like nodes and stuff.
Yeah, but I thought I already had this all connected. Maybe that's not the right account. Okay. But we have like a visualization, and it's running, and it shows me when calls are being made. It's a little bit of a heavy process to like track all of this, but it's really helpful. And so I was like, cool, we got that working. And so like anytime I kick up my gateway, I can kind of see the traffic that's coming through. I can see the skills happening locally. And there had to be a whole portal I had to create. So I've got like an events API that I spun up so that I could track all the events happening. Because I'm having to portal them from local to the cloud here, right? and that required like a whole lift. And so me and Claudebot were just having a great old time, like figuring out how to create this really robust events API, and then how to create. So this has like 3 different layers, right? There's a gateway that you have to install. And so, okay, fantastic. Again, this is just like vibe coding. What's so great about Claudebot? And so, like I have a problem.
This kind of stuff is what I saw.
This is
like, I love this.
Yeah. And so what you're looking, so like the way I kind of vibe code stuff is like, I'll first try to get the functionality going, and then I'll worry about like making it. I actually think vibe coding through design, me personally, I used to design through the editor. It was just really slow. So when Sketch came out, I got really excited. I'm probably going to do a lot of my design work like vibing things to precision. Because I have ideas. Like I can make stuff look really unique, and I'll show you some in a little bit. And I didn't touch anything other than prompting it into existence. But this is not one of those examples. This is just something that's functional. And I want to tell you why this is so cool to me. And it's a small little detail, right? So I come in here. Let's go to Twitter real quick. There's always something interesting happening on Twitter. Let's just look at Twitter for a quick second. What's like an interesting story indicative of I truly love the singularity? So right now, my feed is ingesting a lot of things about this Molt book, which we'll talk about.
It's so funny. I have it pulled up because I wanted to laugh at some of them on the show.
Yeah, we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna tell you the if we have this funny thing I'm gonna run today with my bot about that. But anyway, let's just grab one. Okay, this is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. Let's go ahead and just copy this link. So I ingest, again, unemployed. So I consume content. I consume so much content.
Right. I mean, it's like what your business is built on. A lot of it, you know.
And
sharing cool things,
staying up to date, finding through lines, and it's everywhere. Yeah. Bookmarking on X sucks. I'm on YouTube, Substack, you name it. So it's like how I've tried to create Notion databases and a save to clip, and it still is all just very dumb. It's a very dumb process.
Yeah. That's what I never stick with. Like I have one thing that I've stuck with my entire career, which is I have this Pinterest board called UI UX. It has like 5,000 pins. And it is the only thing in my entire career that I have done since I started my career, and is like shaped like my career. Everything else is like, oh, this is a good idea, but you do it for so long, and then it's just like, oh, I've got to manually like keep this ball rolling.
Well, and so whenever I would tell people, as you start to look at your life and your hobbies and your work, and you want to find like meaningful compounding of what a process could do, I'd look at the places where you do have some sort of historical vault of information that could use some help. And for me, it's been like the curation of all these designers, content, things, right? And I would say like your Pinterest vault is like a gold mine. But watch this. Just watch this for a second. So cool. I found something I wanted. Like I wanted catalog. So just plus link, right? Just pop it in there. And I do that from my phone. I do that from wherever. But plus sign is it's the prefix. It knows, okay, if he does plus sign, we're adding to what I call the chronicle, right? That's my chronicler. And so it comes in here and it's like, got it. AI agents on Maltbook proposing an agent-only language for private comms, capturing for Chronicle. And what's interesting is interesting signal. Hold on. This ties to the broader thread of agent coordination and autonomy. Want me to check if there's an existing agent communication thread to link to? Yes, please. And so what it's doing right now,
because it knows like threads that you've been built. Oh my goodness. As somebody who like has
it's tracking
ADHD, this is incredible.
So here's what it's doing, right? So like I'm just keyboard shortcutting through all of this. Oh wait, what happened? He's running some process that's dicking everything up. Okay, give it a second here.
It's deploying is my guess.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Okay, hold on.
Yep, failed to fetch initial data. That means the data is like updating. You're embarrassing me, Spence. That's awesome. No, if Allie was on here right now, then Allie would say, "Will, you need Claudebot to remind you to close the cabinet doors." But for real, like this is awesome because like I think so many people would benefit from having something that is like just a part of all of your communication, all a part of like where you exist, to be able to like help you create through lines in your life that you forget about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think so much good content, like people who are like really good at like writing books, people who are really good at like speaking or like sharing ideas, are people who have sat for a while and like done the work that you've got like your Claude bot doing, which is like, okay, think through all the stuff, compile like similar storylines and create some kind of narrative around it, because like it's just like it's hard to do. Like we forget so much.
Well, and so like this idea, and you're right. Anybody who's like decent at something is now going to be made good, and anyone who's good at something is now going to be made great. And I think like if you're decent and you're artificially made good, I think it's only a matter of time. Like there's probably some visual where it's like I'm decent, that's my baseline, and now you're like, oh, now I'm good. But there's like a bar of like catching up where that like now becomes true about you, and then all of a sudden now you're great.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's going to happen that way over time. So I don't know what this is doing right now, so we're going to give that a moment. But the point is so I have a cron process that runs the end of every day, the end of every week, the end of every month, the end of every year.
And what it's all doing like local host stuff.
This is local, but I also have it databased because I don't want to lose this. This is actually very important. And the more historically,
the local host is just to like spin up the like viewable version of everything you've stored in the database.
Right. And so every day it'll run a job to synthesize. And so what it does is it looks at the previous day's synthesis, which it provides me big pictures, key signals, threads, questions that it raises. If it starts to find things that are reoccurring themes, then it spins up these things called active threads, which are, it tells me why. It auto catalogs and reorganizes its tags over time. We have a cron job for that. And so this is all great, right? Like I don't come in here and read a lot of this, although if I wanted to, I could like, I want to talk about ClaudeBot, and it'll like we can find some stuff, and that's fine. This is wonderful. This is like a step above being dumb. Yeah. But this is not what's beautiful yet. Okay.
What's up, Ivan? Good to have you here, bud.
Hell yeah. So what's beautiful about this though? All right. So cool. I've got a really easy way that is native to me to ingest anything I come across, to include, shit's cray. Right. And it'll know, like, I produce so much content, so much writing. I have so many conversations. I'm granolaing this conversation. Then I'm going to feed this entire transcript into my chronicle, because I don't just want it to know what I'm paying attention to in the industry, but I also want it to know every time I've given some sort of opinion about the industry. And the reason the reason all of that synthesis is really nice is because then I can say, hey, spin up the writer agent. Let's take a look at what's happened in the industry.
Josh, you know what we need, right?
The last 7 days, and let's suggest 3 newsletter ideas for the UX Tools newsletter, right? And
it's a riff and refine bot. We need a riff bot and a refine bot. We need a bot with both of those skills, like one that riffs and one that refines.
And one that publishes the podcast at the end of the day.
Well, and so like I just want to show you some real stuff here. So let me open up. Like I just had a podcast with Pietro Serrano yesterday. We talked about his tool Magic Path, and that gets uploaded here to Riverside, right? Like this initially comes over here. There's a transcript available to this, and so the process for Riverside or a podcast is. Podcast gets created, and then what I have to do is I have to come over here, and I have to create issues or tasks for I have to create issues and tasks for the team that say, hey, I need you to de-rush the Riverside video, so it cuts out the ums and anything that's like confidential in there. You could probably automate that with AI, but I've run it through my editor. He does that, and then he sends it back to me. I have a couple bullet points of things I want to call out, and then I run it through Claude and I say, or Kimmy, and I say, hey, I want my intro, outro, bookends written based on these bullet points. It'll write it. I might tweak it a little bit.
Right.
And then from there, I have a couple other processes that I need to run. I need to run on captions for LinkedIn, X, Instagram. I need to run a newsletter insight for it. I need to task out the thumbnail. What is the title going to be of the video? What is the thumbnail text going to say? And so what I'm in the process of doing, I can't show you this yet, and we'll look at writer agent is cooking, should have 3 newsletter ideas based on last 7 days shortly. So like it's doing its thing right now. So it's going through
Riff and Refine bots happening.
Yeah, this is going through the chronicler.
Yeah.
I also have another tool that I haven't shown you guys, and this one's like a massive security risk. I want to be clear. Because this is I'm going to show this, but like I don't know what we have going on over here.
For our future Claude bot that's going to be listening to this episode, some things that I want for ours is I want a public channel that people who are fans of the show can drop links to, and for our show we can have like a community section where like we talk about like things community people have shared.
We should basically like make it so that we don't have to touch the code. What we do is like as we talk about what we want in the website while we're talking is like then it's just happening for us.
It's just happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like, well, so I don't mind. This is 2024 data, so this is fine. But like, I have all of my one of the number one problems of running any kind of business as a solo person is you have so many revenue sources: Stripe, PayPal. I've got my Mercury bank account. I've got Bill.com, all the things, right? So this is compiling everything for me. We have deals that we do, and I need a deal tracker for that. I also want this is kind of a status board that's erroring out. But on top of this, something I'm going to start using X articles for. Everyone's on X articles, but like I'm going to start just sharing journal logs on what it's like to build a new media studio. And I'm going to be like uncomfortably transparent about it. And so what that means is in addition to industry chronicling and my opinion about what's happening in the industry, which will inform all sorts of media, I want to regularly check in with AI and have it catalog what's going on in the business. What am I insecure about? I want it to also be able to know, oh, hey, I just saw profit and loss updated. I saw cash flow and accounts receivable. Something happened there. I saw, there's a new hire that you made. And I want it to take all of that and help me craft these kind of journal entries. Now, I'm still going to write them, but it gives me this like fantastic starting point. It solves the blank canvas problem in a way that's really helpful for me, right? And so we come back over here. He's still writing, right? So like he's doing work. He's got 3 different newsletters cooking right now with my writer agent.
And does it? You said it defaults to Kimmy 2.5.
Kimmy 2.5 for writing, which is I'm not kidding, fantastic. I've been on the Kimmy 2 thinking train since like July or whenever it came out, and that has been part of another tool I have called the Script Studio. But this has been like. This is new. I'm still cleaning the founder dashboard up. In fact, we're even going a bit further, and I'm creating this dashboard called the Hinterlands. This looks like complete ass. Dude, but I finally
you should have seen what I showed on here like multiple weeks in a row. Like this is how it works. You show like how you're thinking, how you're building. It will be nice one day, but that's not why people are here. Here it's Riff and Refine. Riff always has to come first.
Nothing about this. I literally started this morning. So this thing is breaking. It's not working. The process for keeping the bots in line around a massive project like this, I could talk to. But I've decided I want a dashboard for viewing all of these things. And so it's like, okay, well, what do we do for that? And this is very specific to me.
Process.
And so but like having one interface here, or really it's a couple of interfaces, right? Because it's my phone. I built this whole thing in my phone actually. And because I've spent most of my day like not at my computer. And so it's been building it for my phone. I actually can't wait to get off this call or this live stream because I'm going to just like go ham on this for the rest of the day.
Good to know that you can't wait to get off the call with us. Thanks, Tommy. Also,
you guys are keeping my time away from vibing.
Form does indeed follow function. We're all Bauhaus fans here. Big shout out to Industrial Design.
I love that. I love that. But
also,
so,
Adrian, I didn't recognize you. This is Adrian from the group, right?
Yep, I believe.
I didn't recognize you with a real face, because you're just like an animated face everywhere else I see you. So that threw me off. Good to see Adrian.
That's awesome. And so that's the biggest thing for me right now, man, is like my ability, and I'll tell you what's really nice too is the beans will push back against me. Like if I'm like, hey, like there'll be many times where I try to submit a link and he's like, hey, you already did that. You did that yesterday. And I was like, oh, dope. And he's like, I'm not going to clock that because you already did it. But like, or there'll be times where I want us to start doing a thing and he's like, we can do that, but like, it's going to mess this thing up over here. Are you sure? Or would you like me to spin this other thing up? And
did you have to build that questioning into you, or is it just kind of
that I did not ask for that. I've seen people talk about, I think it might've been Peter or somebody talked about one of the moments that like really made them go, holy crap, was they were talking to their bot and there was some use case that needed, or that it felt like would have been helpful to have audio, have it text to speech, the bot turn that to speech. And he's like, I didn't build that in. And within like, I think he said it was like a minute or something or 30 seconds, the bot created the ability to text to speech and then spoke its answer to him. And it's like, that's wild. That's wild.
We are going to get, we'll figure, it's probably going to be Discord, but we'll figure it out. We're going to get a Discord set up. We're going to have private channels for you and me to do stuff, Josh. And then we're going to have a public community channel where people can drop links, and we're going to make a Riff and Refine bot. We need to name it. We'll crowdsource a name. Chat, y'all got to share what we should call our show's bot.
Oh, see, he forgets context. He's been forgetting context on me lately, so I've got to figure out what that is. But
like you said,
what I love about that,
we're all just exploring. It's fun.
I'm creating this like fortress layer. Like I'm trying to figure out how can I make my bot talk to your bot, but also like I need to gate certain information. Like your bot should not be able to ask me how much money is in my bank account and get an answer, you know, or much less obviously push up action. Some of that's controllable. Like, so I'm kind of learning a lot about security right now. I'm probably like after the stream, everything's going to get hacked because I probably exposed a bunch of stuff.
Oh, you're fine. You've not shown anything that anyone can get into at the moment.
But it's like the ability for this to be running these operations in the background, because I have a couple things running, and by the time we're done talking here, it's all going to be done. And I said the other day, like this idea of a context window is the dial-up modem of the 90s, right? Like that's exactly what it is right now. Because at this point, the only thing that I can see being truly a roadblock outside of me is just a context window. It's its ability to memory. Like at that, like this is truly.
There are so many people working on that.
It's going to get solved.
So many different dimensions. It's good. Like it's going to be a solved problem in a couple of months for sure.
You know, and so like building out this entire.
Dude, this was so good when you sent this to me.
This is where I was like, okay, I have an idea, and it's just an interface into a business. This isn't like a technically very heavy, but it is just a talent network we're opening up, and it's got this like whole way of that we're going to do stuff. And you know, and so I was like, cool, I want this to kind of embody a little bit of what the game missed, this nostalgia that like there's this awe and wonder. When I was a kid, playing the game Myst was one of the first games I played, and I loved it. And I was like, you know what if I tried to invoke a little bit of that into this dashboard? Does this need it? Is a tool like a talent network need that? No, of course not. But again, the question,
do what you want.
The question is, can I do it? Yeah. And I did it, right? Like I got very prescriptive with how I wanted this to operate. And I vibed it all together. And it's just like, it's very easy to do this once you start to really learn how you could do a lot of this stuff. So,
Love it.
Anyway, that's kind of some of the stuff I've been working on, man. I feel like there's probably even 10 other things I could go through.
Probably. We could keep yapping forever, but it is Family Friday. We don't have all day. Unfortunately, I have to make sure that I am not late to pick up my kindergarten wife. We still have plenty of time. Don't get me wrong. We've still got some time. But there's two things I think that we need to do before the show's over. I'm going to give it over to Josh first because my stuff is just fun for people in chat. But the reason that I brought Tommy along is because I think Tommy one thing that Tommy is very good at is like exploring something and figuring out what makes it tick through like pure grit. And you have done that with media. And I think you have really hit on something. You've been on the viral side of things. You're now on the like purpose and meaning side of things. And I think that Josh is currently going through his own content journey himself. Like he has done a very successful like developer Laravel focused YouTube channel. That is kind of what he's been known for. But he wants to make a change. And I told him that I'm going to hold him to it this year. And part of that was like, we have this show. Let's bring on some people that can help. So, Josh, why don't you share a little context for Tommy here? And let's see what Tommy's just off the dome, what comes to mind for him.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think it's directly related to what you just shared. And so it's this whole process of the little bit of success that I've seen, and not like anything huge, but in the sense of like, okay, I've been able to, I work out Laravel and been able to teach people like how to code specifically with the PHP Laravel framework. I had a personal YouTube channel that I've kind of like haven't been as consistent in the last year, but like within a year and a half, I got to 18,000 subscribers and being able to like see success in that, as marginal as it is. And it's like this next phase of I want to expand while also leaning into where AI is going. And I think I love the education aspect of like being able to teach someone how to do that. And I just don't know where that lies. But my thoughts are, especially with kind of everything you shared, is that as people learn, like everybody who has built or has used Claudebot or set up an OpenClaw or whatever that is still like the top 0.1% of builders. And I want to reach like developers, technical people, technical light people, like marketers, salespeople. My thought is, instead of diving all into the, hey, here's like this cool coding aspect, and here's this, here's how a specific function works. I want to think from an architectural standpoint of here's how to build the things in your head with AI. Mm-hmm. And so
is it safe to say you want to get out of the weeds and you want to get into like how to create bigger, like higher level stories and like higher level content?
And so I'm mostly curious on your thoughts on, are people still learning through media? Is the educational aspect for this a good route to go down? Or is it more of the, hey, I'm building something cool, here's how I did it, and less educational side? I think that's like where my head is at, is like, do I lean more into the vlog creator type style of like, hey, here's this cool keytar I built? Or do I go into the, hey, you have an idea, let's set up Claudebot and I'll show you how to do this kind of thing? That's where my clash is happening right now in my brain.
Absolutely. So hold on. I recorded you as you're saying that. My friend is asking me a question. What would I say? I'm going to give you my answer. I'm just curious what Claude would say, what thinks I would say.
Based on his context into your stuff. Yeah.
What I'll tell you is this. So like, are people still learning? Is like, so here's how I think about a few things. I'm going to maybe give 3 thoughts. One is about experimentation. The other is about, format experimentation and finding a series, creating noisemaker media. I'll tell you what that means. And then maybe the third thing would be how do you add value in that educational bucket?
Yeah.
So right off the top, like there are a couple different ways to add value in the educational bucket. Here's a straight up tutorial, right? We aren't giving tutorials in this show right now, but people are probably still getting something valuable that belongs at least partly in the educational bucket. Sometimes just being in a community and seeing seeing other people do a thing and knowing it's possible is enough that creates some intrinsic motivation and gets someone to do it or try it. Right. And then that person might graduate to, okay, like I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, but I actually need to know how. Can you help me do that? And so like there are tiers to that. And I think both of those have value. I'm going to create media that inspires and just shows you the surface. And today we're going to like open up the hood and we're going to get in the weeds. And they definitely are two different types of content, and they work with very specific types of audience. If you're not in the mood to get the tutorial stuff, you're not going to tune in. But you can snack on the inspiration stuff and it's still also valuable. It's not just like wasted calories. So that brings me to my next piece, which says experimentation. Right now, we have a format that works for us on Instagram on like short form media. And once we're done with our experiments on long form and we kind of identify our hits, then we'll start to firm up that baseline and we'll come back to short form and we'll probably start to do some more experimenting. But the point is you want to try to experiment with, it sounds like you have two ideas that you'd like to experiment with. Sounds like you've probably done the tutorial content and you're not sure if you want to keep doing that, but I might suggest maybe two experiments. One is like make a video or two that goes deep on a topic that you haven't talked about, but it's still educational. And then make a video or two that goes deep into showing and inspiring a little more than it does thinky and like tactical. You know, like here's some people doing some things that are really interesting. Blah, 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 blah. You know, here's some people who are doing some stuff like here's what's possible today, what's worth paying attention to. You know, like you could really put a couple episodes out each. And what will happen is you will start to identify, you'll get a lot of signal and you can determine, well, how long did that take me to make? Is that something I enjoy doing? Is that something that seems like there's some appetite for, even if it's fairly new? And I'd say like if you start to get some good gut signals or even some real metrics around that, well then pour a little bit more fuel on the fire. And we're doing that across different cost spectrums. My highest cost episodes are This Is Taste. It's a documentary we produce on location, and it costs like $25,000 to $30,000 each, which is a really, really high dollar amount to spend on one YouTube episode. And I don't know if we're going to continue doing it if we don't meet some of the other metrics. Well, the market enjoys it. Like the audience really likes these. So that's fantastic. Can we do it? Yeah, turns out we're not too bad at it. So that's fantastic. And we like it. It feels purposeful. But then the last question is, can we make money doing it? And that's what we're validating. And so what we're validating now is, are there companies or people who would be willing to pay us to tell a story, but we have to own the story? This is not a commercial. It is not a corporate thing. Either you are just saying, hey, we want that, and we'll let you use the raw footage, but we tell the story and we distribute it, or you don't get the story. Because that's the only way that I would ever take money for those episodes. And if the answer is yes, well, then we're on to something. And so far, the answer is maybe. And that's a really exciting thing. And we'll know by April. I'm going to take inventory of all of these by April. The other episodes we have a podcast that we're trialing, way cheaper to make. We have a kind of, I don't want to call it react content, but it's me giving insights about the industry, reacting to what's going on, reacting to designers who submit their work. Also very lower lift, and the market seems to really enjoy it. Like people enjoy getting spotlighted. And so we're like, heck, this does a really cool thing all around. And so we have all those kind of irons in the fire, and we're going to look at if we enjoy it and all those metrics I mentioned. And then we'll either kill a few of them and then try some new stuff, or we'll say, hey, we got a bunch of hits, cool, and we'll go try some new stuff over here. The last thing I'll say, and this will be shorter, is noisemaker media or noisemaker content. If you're going to try a new format, if you're going to try to reach a new demographic, you have to start putting some low lift things out there that make noise signaling the people you want to reach. If you're going to reconstruct your tribe of audience or the people that you want to attract, then you got to make noise to let them know you're here. Does anybody in DevRel ever feel like this thing sucks? Like identify common enemies.
Okay.
Like and make a shit ton of noise. Just bang the pots and pans. This stuff sucks. This stuff sucks. So I made a stupid little tool, and it still kind of sucks, but it sucks less. Anyone else can relate? And really start to try and attract that demographic a little bit by just commiserating in your media, right? Commiserating in valuable ways.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I think I think in my head, my thoughts were the best way to do this is be consistent in one area. Because for the longest part, like my idea was like, and in previous things, the things I've had most success in is like the 2-hour long, hey, here's from scratch tutorial of going from A to Z. And so in my head, I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this in the sense of like, I think I'd love to do like cohorts in the sense of like live teaching, which I think I'm a lot better at than even video in that sense. My idea was that it would probably be worse if I was trying a whole bunch of different things. But I kind of like what you're saying in the sense like that experimentation almost has to happen in order to find the things I need to dive into.
Doing 4 experiments on long form video, I wouldn't advise off the bat, but I've been in this for like 5 years. I've got a process and a team, and that does push our limits a little bit. Maybe we could bring that down to 3 and it'd be a little bit, my mental health would be better. But so what I would say is this, like, do you need to do 2 at a time? No. Like whatever, what your limitations are, tailored around that. But the main thing is every time you produce one piece of media, think about it like a software product. You're shipping it to the market. It might suck. It might not. Once it's out there, move on to the next thing and evaluate that one maybe after a couple of weeks. Did I like it? Did it do well? Did it resonate? There's probably even if you keep doing it, I would probably film that a little differently. I might bring some energy to this thing. I might show more visual aids next time. But every single thing you publish, I don't care if it's like a tweet. You publish one tweet, I want you to think of it like one self-contained MVP that you just launched and treat it like it. Here's what Claude told me, by the way. Here's what it said I would say. Pure tutorials are dying, that AI docs and tool changes are making them disposable. That's an interesting insight. How to think about building is a gap. So it's saying I would tell you that frameworks and mental models are better than like syntax stuff. That hybrid wins. So here's like the cool thing I built paired with like the thinking behind it versus focusing on one idea. Now, some people say, stay focused, get specific. I want to be very clear. I give counter advice to a lot of like the kind of traditional social media go viral advice. I'm partial to kind of shrugging off a lot of algorithm optimization, which means I don't have the same kind of viral hits that like a Greg Eisenberg has. But I also think the relationships I make through that are very real,
Yeah.
And that's a KPI for me if we were to say.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, people learn differently now. So I don't know. This is like industry stuff it's pulling. It didn't really pull from me. So whatever.
From your thought. That makes sense though. I appreciate that. It gives me a lot to think about for sure.
All right. It's time to wrap up. It's Family Friday. I got to go pick up the wife and the kids. We got to go get my youngest. Tommy, you don't know what Family Friday is, so I'll give you a little refresher. Family Friday is when I drop everybody off in the morning, and then I pick everyone up in the afternoon because our youngest goes with my mother-in-law every day. And on Friday, they study like a new letter every week because she's used to be an educator. So she like teaches all of our kids. So he's learning a letter this week, the letter S. And today we're going to go pick up, when we pick him up, he's going to have mixed a dessert with my mother-in-law that starts with the letter S. So like every Friday we get like a themed dessert that they like baked together. It's super fun. But
that is awesome, man.
So at the end of the show, I've got a jet because I've got to go pick everybody up. So it's the running bit is Family Friday. Got to wrap things up. So Tommy, what do you got going on next week? We always wrap up sharing just a little bit of what we've got planned coming up in the next
We're launching a talent network. I'm trying to place designers who work like this new way with
Mhm.
the teams who are reaching
Want
out to
people like
me
that. Yeah.
and saying, "Hey, do you know designers who work this way?"
Yeah.
And we've
Nice.
always said yes. And so now I'm like, well, cool. Let me see if I
Let's
can
build
like
a
scale
system.
that.
Yeah. Awesome. Josh, what you up to?
Yeah, I want to do some of this experimentation stuff. So like I have like 2 ideas that I'm thinking of. Like one of the biggest ones is like I've been wanting to share more about like my guitar build in the sense of like
I think it would be dope, dude.
Yeah.
like it's such a broad. So like I feel like I have 4 different buckets of audience. Usually it's like developers, people who are creators, so like OBS tips and tricks and stuff like that, and then maybe like just broad range people. And so like I want to go in, like I don't know if music is too far down that stretch, but maybe it's not. So that's my push, is experimenting with that, and then also getting some insight onto this course I want to launch as well.
Nice. I think that's like the perfect project for like what Tommy said about like the hybrid, because like you can absolutely cover like the, hey, here's how I like approached it, and here's how I figured out the different pieces to bring them together to make this
Here's
thing.
why I built
And
my, like I have thoughts
then you
on
can dig
why
into
I
the
did all
nitty
of it.
gritty of like how it actually like went down for people who want that. Perfect. Sick.
Like-
all right. Next week, I've been building an agent-based DAW editor, and I am like cooking now, and it is super fun. I've got like all the architecture set up. We've got like live events streaming from agents to the like application, and the application can like pick up all the different events. And now I'm like getting into the part that takes forever, which is like design. Like, and this is like the part where it's like I purposefully, it's like one interesting thing with AI where it's like I can move so fast with it that I get stressed out, because it's normally things take so long to like do the engineering to get it working that I have plenty of time to chew over all of the like the user experience. Like my brain gets to churn on all of that over like the few weeks that it took me to actually engineer the thing. And normally when I get to the point where I'm ready to do that, like I don't feel like I've wasted any time because I got it all figured out. Now I just have to like push some pixels around until I like them. And now like I've been feeling more stressed lately because the new workflow is like, oh, the engineering stuff was fast. Like it's done, and I still haven't figured out like what the right experience is. Then I feel less efficient. Like I feel like, dude, like you're failing, even though like you're still moving faster. Like you don't have as much mental time to chew over problems as you did before. So like I'm trying to like adjust to that. But like next week is like, okay, I've chewed on some problems. I'm ready to like push some pixels. I got some really nice ones that I'll be sharing next week. And then
love it.
This is something that I wanted to do. So I'm going to do it anyway. So even though we don't have time, I'm going to start adding this thing called Song of the Week. So this QR code is my song this week. I've been playing this song on repeat. I'm going to put it in chat too if people don't have like their phone or whatever and can't scan it. But it's called Fool by Geoco. I don't know if that's actually how you pronounce it.
I think it's Joe.
Joe. Yeah. All right. Well, by Joe. This band is like completely new to me, but this song "Fool" is so good because it is
the guy
so
from
weird.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Joe.
That's interesting.
It is just such an interesting song, and it's so like I want to find more music like this where it's like, and as I've been building this DAW stuff, like I'm getting more into like music theory. I'm getting more into like how people produce music, and so then I find very interesting artists like this who, like the way they come at music is just different from I'm trying to make a hit, and more like it's like getting like you've done this, Tommy, like where you've covered designers for so long. There's clearly people who are like, yeah, I know that this is going to be like a classically good looking thing. And then there are other people who can like make these designs that feel so unique and so good because of how technical. Like it may not be a perfect fit for everyone, but for the right people, it is so good. So anyway, that's like something that has been interesting. I got a few tools that I found that I'm just going to share next week because I don't have time to show them this week. So y'all will all have to
turn to a music show.
Yeah. Next week, the next one's a color tool. And Tommy, I'm gonna send it to you in our like community because this is like the dopest color tool of all time. Let me just give like a quick. I'm gonna add it to the stage. Super. Well, no, I can't. One sec. No, I can't. Rats. Never mind. We're not sharing it. So anyway, it's the coolest tool. I'll share more of it next week, but it is like sick. It is so good. So that's all I got. Next week, Josh is gonna play the guitar for us live, and we'll have another fun show. Tommy, thanks for coming on today. As always, it is great hanging out with you. I can't wait till we actually get to hang in person. One of these days, it's happening.
Likewise, sir.
Yeah.
And it was good meeting you, Josh. We'll have to hit me up anytime if you want to talk about the media stuff.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it for sure. That'd be awesome.
Ask him about sponsorships so you can finally get Taco Bell to sponsor you, man.
Oh, man. If only.
Josh is like Taco Bell's #1 fan.
I had Burger King. I had Burger King sponsor me once in a weird. I was like, what?
Dude,
what?
yeah.
I was like, what?
That's awesome. Cool. All right. That's it, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful
Sick.
afternoon and a good weekend. This has been Riff and Refine with the boys. Later.
Thanks, Tommy.
Peace.